Good adventures, everybody. I'm Melissa Bonzak, and welcome to episode 141 of Books Cubed, the show where I chat with authors you should be reading. And this week, we are talking radio drama. And I am chatting with author CJ Corl and actress Kait McNeal. And we are going to be talking about their radio drama, Simply to Die For. This was so much fun, and I know I say that every week, and I know I say that every week, but it is truly so much fun to host this podcast and meet people like Kait and CJ. I had a great time listening to their radio drama. It is 10 episodes, they're 20 minutes each, and it is a murder mystery. And as I say during the show, it's a bloodbath. But we don't give away any spoilers, so you'll be able to listen to the show and nothing will be ruined for you. Before we get to that real quick, I want to let you know that I will be at the Minneapolis Rewind Book Fair, April 18th and 19th, 2026. And I will be signing books there. And you can come out and meet me. That would be great. I would love to meet people. Let me know if you listen to the podcast or if you just read my books. That would be great. There should be a lot of people there. I think there were 9,000 readers who wandered through last year. Minneapolis is the stopping grounds for a family member, and I'm going to be able to stay with them and have a lovely time. And it's going to be their birthday one of the days. So we will get to have cake. We better have cake. Anyway, so let's get right to the interview and get on with things. And I will see you after. Okay, I am so excited to be chatting with CJ Corl, the writer and creator of a radio drama called Simply to Die For, and with Kait McNeal, one of the actors from the show. Welcome to Books Cubed.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Now I got to start out by saying, and I'm gonna out myself as an old lady. I loved this because it took me back to the days as a kid with my transistor radio under the covers, listening. I lived in Boston, and there was a station, and I should have researched this. There was a station out of Boston that did a midnight horror mystery thing. And I would listen on the weekends. And I want to say it was like Saturday night. I don't think it was more than one night a week. And that was just some of my favorite times. We're listening to radio dramas. And, you know, I wasn't old enough to sit in front of the radio before TV like grandma. But I did have my transistor, and I thoroughly loved that. And this really took me back, especially with the time period. So the radio show, I'm calling it a radio show, but what do you call it?
We've been calling it an audio drama, but you're 100% correct. The idea and the kind of nostalgia factor is for the old radio shows pre-TV that you would tune into weekly.
Yeah, and the show is called Simply to Die For. It's available on podcasts, probably everywhere you podcast. And I'll put a link in the show notes because I recommend it's 10 episodes only. 10 episodes, and it was like about 20 minutes an episode, right?
About.
Yeah, so it's a fast listen, very exciting. So how did you come up with the idea to do this?
So we work with the production company that put the audio drama together, Roving Rogue Productions. And one of the things that we as an organization do a lot is live murder mysteries. So they're interactive. Cait is one of our regular actresses. Oh, actually, a lot of the voices that you hear, if you ever come to Northeast Ohio and run into us, you might run into some people that you know. And I will be 100% honest. I got furloughed for 2.5 months during COVID. It's a combination of two of our 1920s murder mysteries that we do that have been kicking around in my brain for a while to turn it into something scripted. And just kind of, I had nothing else to do and finally had the time to sit in a chair, and kind of became part of my pandemic routine of having a few hours to work on something that fulfilled me creatively and gave me something to do. So that's kind of where it was born out of. And then we did a scripted reading with a limited cast for the Akron Civic Theater during the pandemic. So everybody sitting 6 feet apart. They aired it on Facebook, I
Facebook,
think.
I think. Yeah. Yeah. I think it was on Facebook Live.
Yeah. And that was kind of our, second run of finding those kinks. We had done a very, very small, just like in-person read through with actors to kind of workshop it. And we got a grant from Arts and Stark, which is our local community arts organization that provides funding for performers and artists of all kinds. And they gave us the funds to help us kind of get it up and moving.
Nice. Okay, so this was an established group?
Yes and no. So Roving Rogue Productions was officially established in 2020 because they made the great decision of founding a theater troupe in the middle of a pandemic.
Of course.
They are, yeah, why not? They are born out of an organization called the Spring Hill Players, which was associated with a very small historic home called Spring Hill Historic Home in Northeast Ohio. So, right before the pandemic hit, they'd kind of separated off. They wanted to do some more things and go from there.
Now, did you record this during the pandemic?
Yeah, we recorded, Cait, do you remember it was 21?
I think so.
20,
Yeah.
21, somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Because yes. Yeah. It was like
And then we
middle to
released
late.
over
Yeah.
the fall
Yeah.
of 21, if I remember correctly. I just
Yep.
thought I just had a like remember so many years ago, and it was pictures of us recording. So we recorded in the spring.
Yes, I do remember that. Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
were you all together? I mean, we couldn't be too close together, but were you together in the same studio or did you record separately?
Yeah, so we actually recorded in the same studio. There was a very local music shop that had a recording space in the basement, and we were able to kind of space people out as needed to be safe with everyone. But it gave, and Cait can talk about this a little bit more than I can, them the opportunity to kind of feed off of each other a little bit more and catch some of those more natural reactions because
Mhm.
I don't think anybody had heard Cait's voice until we
And
did.
Cait, you got to do a line as Vera.
God, I don't even remember any of it. Really?
That's it. Vera, I
Oh
mean,
yeah. Um,
every time anybody spoke, I pictured, I think every time Vera spoke, I can't think of her name, the actress from Victor and Victoria who played the girlfriend who was in the
yes,
Chicago
yes.
stage show.
That was very much an inspiration. That was
Yeah, yeah. And if you people listening have not seen Victor Victoria, after you finish listening to this, go find Victor Victoria and listen to it. It's James Garner and Julie Andrews and
Great,
just
great movie.
amazing,
wonderful movie. Yeah.
amazing
Yeah.
movie. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, everybody who spoke, I just imagined. I think I imagined what the character is supposed to look like. So, Cait, what was it like? Here is supposed to be the pandemic. And here you've got a room
Mhm.
full of people that you can't get very close, but you want to be close enough to be able to react to each other. How was
I
that?
mean, it was honestly so refreshing because like as a performer going through that whole time of completely isolating for the most part and not being able to do, I also come from a live theater background. So I hadn't been doing any shows. I hadn't really had any of that performance outlet for the better part of a year.
Oh,
And so being part of the development of this really was such a gift at that time. And it was so much fun and such a fun, silly script and such a fun, lighthearted thing. But it was really, really nice to be able to be in the room with other performers again and be able to have those very natural reactions because when we rehearsed it, what little rehearsal we did, it was over Zoom like this, or not, we weren't right there with each other. So to be able to actually be in that room all together recording it, we found all of these very instinctual and natural like reactions that played into characters and delivery and everything just in that moment. And it was so much fun. It was such a delight. And it was a delight too to be able to, it felt almost like a live performance, because we were all there. Recorded the whole thing in one day, so it wasn't like we did this little bit, go away, come back, do this. It was scene for scene for scene. You were on, then you were off, and then you were back in, and like it was great.
yeah, I was going to ask how many, because it felt like it flowed really nicely. It did not feel like you left for 2 weeks and came back and like
Correct.
lost the character or anything like that.
One
Right.
day,
Yeah.
one
One day.
day, straight
One day.
through.
Wow.
Yep.
How long did it take in the one day? Because it's, well,
Oh,
10 episodes or so, 200 minutes basically.
Yeah, I
about.
it was a solid day. I mean, it was
It was a
probably
solid
6 or 8 hours
Yeah.
of intermittent, and none of us, most of us at least, weren't in every single scene, or we had breaks, we had little like moments, but yeah, it was a long day, but it was a really good day. So
We had a lunch break and we recorded like from the beginning to the end. So I joked with a lot of our people. I was like, well, when you're dead, you can leave. Like you're done. um uh Spoiler, it's a murder mystery. People die. And
It's a bit
you
of a
don't see them
bloodbath.
come back.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
But
boy, by the end you probably had what, 2 or 3 people left.
more than that. I will say one of the really funny things, because I was not actually in the booth recording. We had Chuck Bonikowski, who is was directing for us. I felt really passionately that I should not be directing because I have things in my brain of how I think people should sound. And Cait is like a great example of this. These characters have been talking to me, and then we have Cait bring such warmth that she has become a favorite. And she was not intended, Vera was not intended to be that person. Vera was intended to be really obnoxious and annoying and, there.
Yeah.
And Cait just brought this like loveliness and this warmth. And we did some behind the scenes like filming with our cast, and Vera consistently wins as favorite character. And I attribute that fully to Cait because she just brought this loveliness to her that even though she has a big voice,
Yes.
people still
Big
love
voice,
her.
big personality. Like, let's not get it wrong. She is annoying, but but there's an endearing element to that annoyingness. I
There is, but one of my favorite parts of recording that day is I was out and all of the sudden I see like half the cast go running out of the room and I'm like, what is happening? They're like, Vera's gonna scream, and I was like, close that door. Close that door. We warned our recording artist, like Chuck was standing behind him to tap on his shoulder when he needed to bring her mic down so she didn't pop anything. But it just like you fed off of that kind of energy of the other actors, because I will say it was the funniest thing. They all came running out and I was like, what is happening?
Which again, coming from a live theater background, I'm used to like projecting and all that, and so there was a bit of an adjustment. But the scream I was given sanction to go crazy with, so I did, and it was a great time.
It was great.
And that's the most fun is writing something and then having it brought to life by actors. I did film before I was into books. And that's just the best thing, because actors then
Yeah.
suddenly they take your creation and they make it their own.
hmm
And it no longer belongs to you. It belongs to them,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why I was so big on like making sure that I wasn't directing, because I didn't want to put my preconceived notions of like how characters should sound or things like that. I was part of the directing and the casting, I should say. And I know that like I had looked at Chuck a few times and I was like, Joe Morales, loose cannon. Like I looked at him before he had originated that role before it even turned into an audio drama. I was like, he has to play this part. Cait did the reading at the Akron Civic, and I was like, nobody else can play Vera. Like, this is the character. Kathleen Bachtel was the same thing for the narrator, originating roles, and we just both looked at each other. We're like, unless we find somebody that we love more, but like that is how we both hear this character.
I loved that there was a narrator, and I loved that she was the fourth wall. She broke the fourth wall to be with us, and she'd say things like, "Oh my God, I think we should leave them alone and get out of here." There were a few. I don't want to do any spoilers, so I'm not going to say what she was referring to because I want y'all to go listen to it. But I really felt like she brought me along. I think if she hadn't been there or hadn't talked to us like she did, it wouldn't have brought me into the story as much as it did. Did you, the first time when you sat down to write it, did you have an idea of having a narrator for it, or did it kind of evolve?
I think I had her fairly early on, just with helping set the scene. Like I said earlier, I was basing it off of the old audio dramas and the old radio plays, and there's usually, or a lot of times, there's some sort of narration going on. Even if you do, Cait and I have both done staged readings of plays for different things, and you usually have somebody there kind of reading stage directions, telling you what's going on, where you're at, since you don't get the full production of a play. And that's kind of where she slotted in. And then she just kind of created this personality where she's like, hey, I'm along with you guys for the ride and we're gonna have a great time. And kind of gets to buddy up against the audience to be like, hey, wait till you see this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Kathleen, the actress who played the narrator, just had kind of that tone of like, I'm here to, tell this story, but then she starts breaking that fourth wall and being like, well, okay, let me tell you. I have thoughts.
Yeah.
Let me tell you the real story.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, she was great. I have to say, the person, I'll tell you after we're done recording, the person I thought was the killer wasn't the killer. So I was really pleased with that. So I was very surprised. That was good. I like that. Did you, as you're sitting down and outlining it or writing it, did you do an outline? Did you have an idea of who the killer was going to be?
Yeah. So the way that I structure our like interactive murder mysteries, basically anybody can be the killer. So that's usually where I start from. Um, like you mentioned, this was a little bit of a bloodbath. So we had we had to versus our regular like performed murder mysteries where we kill one person and can start with the victim. Once I started looking at it, I was like, there's really only one person who could have the way of doing this, of motive for killing all of these people. And kind of basing it around that character and then expanding back. So I did have an outline once I sorted everything through of here's where we're dropping red herrings, here's where we're dropping, this information, here's where we're killing this person, and basing that way and then breaking them down into episodes, and then going into scene by scene. I was really bent on making sure that we had 20-minute episodes just because I liked that idea of it's a little nugget. My commute to work is not very long, and while I love my like 2-hour long podcasts that I listen to, it's really annoying when I only have a 10-15 minute drive and I can't get through anything by the time I get to work.
Yeah, I agree. I write short chapters. Because when I listen to the audiobooks of other people, I want that short chapter. So while I'm making dinner, I can listen to a chapter.
Exactly.
That kind of thing. So I want it to be short. And I know, and yeah, if someone's got a long commute, they can listen to the whole thing.
Great.
Yeah. Okay, Cait, I got to ask. When you first saw the script, was Vera, I mean, did you pinpoint it on Vera?
Absolutely. 100%. So I was part of the workshop reading like way before anything officially happened, and then I was part of the staged reading that they did at the Civic, and then I was part of the final one, obviously. And yeah, from the very that was the first character that I read, and I can't remember whether I asked for her or whether you just gave her to me.
I probably just gave her to you, to be honest. We had 5 people for that first workshop, so it was filled with a lot of laughter. Let's put it that way.
There was a lot of back and forth and people reading like 4 different parts and all that funness. But yeah, no, from the moment that I read her, I was like, I must. She's my darling, and I love her dearly.
Oh yeah. She's a character actress's dream. I mean, that's what you want, is a character that everybody goes, oh, God, that most annoying character, Vera. But they remember who it was.
Yep. And if she makes you laugh, she's doing her job. So
yes. Now, this was when was this finished?
We debuted it and put it out into the world in 2021 through it finished right into 2022 in January. So we put out an episode each week starting around Halloween, and it ended, I think, in early January.
That sounds right.
Are you looking at doing another season with a different cast and a different killing?
Vera's Revenge, the ghost of Vera.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Actually, so I do currently have two scripts started on my computer, but I'm busy. So it hasn't gotten any farther. The ongoing joke though is unfortunately not Millie or not Vera, but is Millie would be the reoccurring character, and that probably we would never acknowledge that she's just in every single one. Amanda, I should say Walker, she is married now, is one of our co-founders in Roving Rogue Productions. So she is basically roped into whatever I ask her to be roped into. And she would probably agree with that wholeheartedly, that I'm just like, yeah. And she was another fun one to watch because she just kind of like there was an episode just because Millie is so anxious that I was like, "You are you good? Are you good?" And she's like, "Give me a minute. I need to like bring my energy down. Give me a minute." But yeah, there's we've looked at a 1930s one that I'm looking at. I've got another one on the books that I would love to do in a slightly different format, but would still kind of be a 10-ish episode thing. I really like that kind of nice. I like round numbers. 10
Yeah,
is
yeah,
easy for me to think of.
yeah.
So hopefully nothing that I get to like officially announce because I have to get my act together and
Yeah.
actually finish writing it, but it is plotted out. So
Oh, well, that's good. That's good. Okay, so I got to
halfway
go
there.
back and ask, and I meant to ask this earlier. So Kate, when you guys are looking at the script and doing it, is there any room for improv, or do you go exactly with what is written on the page?
I mean, I think you try to go as accurate to what is written as possible. It was such a collaborative process, workshopping and going through the development of this, that I think if there was anything that we had been like, hey, can I blah blah blah, can I change this word or whatever, like I don't think that that would have been an issue in any way. But I mean, generally speaking, if when you're actually to the point of recording and like, yes, this is the final version, you're trying to be as accurate as possible. There's certainly room for sounds and reactions and like those little moments that occur um naturally as the story is developing, but in terms of what you're saying, yeah, you're trying to be as accurate to the page as possible.
And our actors were great about kind of adding those in, like, do
Mm-hmm.
you care if we like make these adjustments or things like that? And I was like, look, if it flows better for you, I am not married to like swapping
Right.
words or things. I will say one of our actors was bound and determined to try and drop a swear word in because we were like, we have to be aware we're putting this out on an audio platforms. So we have to be aware of the amount of swearing that we have. And so we had looked it up and we could have like one swear word or something. And he was bound and determined to try and slip it in. I don't think he was successful.
I don't remember hearing a swear word unless it was in.
He was trying to do it in like when there was a lot of people talking. It was it
Slip
was
it
our
past.
actor who played Ricochet, so this very much tracks with the character. But
Yes.
yeah, they got to do a lot of kind of that little chatter that none of that is scripted. It's whatever they're saying.
And I did love all the Foley, all the background noises. That really brought me into the story, was hearing the rain and hearing people on
Mhm.
stairs and the gunshots and oh God, I don't want to give any more things away.
Yeah, our recording artist Nick was phenomenal with kind of building a lot of that out. We helped source some of the information or some of the sounds, but he also had a pretty decent sized library. And there was even jokes at some point about like if there was weird things that we wanted or needed, because we did have a few sound effects that we were struggling to find something that really sounded like what we wanted. We had joked about having like a full Foley day of just, hey, we need Vera's shoes on the stairs or something, and Vera's gonna be wearing heels, like, or making sure that, the sound of the heels is actually on the type of flooring that we want or anything like that. But I don't think we ended up having to do. I think Nick may have done a few things in the background just to help fill it out, but nothing crazy. He was
Nothing
great.
crazy. No odd. 'Cause I worked on a film once and we had someone was stabbed with a pitchfork. So the director came over to my house and bent my knife, but we slammed a knife into a watermelon. and
Yes.
got the
Oh,
sounds and
yeah.
then pulling the knife back out that,
Mm-hmm.
oh,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, we didn't have to. If Nick did it, he did not reveal that to me. I know he had talked about maybe having to do it, but based off of what I heard, I don't think he did.
Yeah. Oh, that's too bad. No fun stories about.
I know, right? That'd been so much fun. But I'm sure the actual Foley artists who created and made the sounds that we ended up using probably
Yeah.
have some really good stories.
Yeah, they probably do. Yeah. Yeah. So this was, you said this was a grant that paid for this?
Yeah, yeah. So we got a grant from an organization called Arts in Stark. We in Ohio, we're in a county called Stark County. So that is the county arts organizations, and they at the time were giving grants annually. So it gave us enough funding to cover all of the recording costs. So
Nice.
our recording artist was paid for, but and then all of our actors are getting a percentage of whatever royalties we get from putting this out. But, we are small. The grant was not large, but it helped us make sure that we are covering. And we have, as an organization, have put forth a lot trying to give opportunities for performers. We tried to get money for our actors to be paid, but it didn't pan out.
I know the arts
Yeah.
people just don't want to put money into the arts, and the arts are so important.
Mhm.
From the
Mm-hmm.
moment you wake up till you go to bed, you experience the arts in many different forms, from
Mhm.
TV to music, to
Absolutely.
the funny pages in the paper, if they still have newspapers. Do they still have newspapers?
I believe the
Someone's
funniest
getting them.
yeah.
They might be out there still.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know I don't get one anymore, but
Well, and we had really pushed trying to get funding for that, specifically because it was the pandemic. So, like Kate said, you have these performers who maybe are regularly singing in spaces or they are performing live theater and they are getting compensated for that. And then we had a pandemic that shut everything down. So we'd really put forth a lot of like, hey, you're helping the economy because all of these people are also out of work and there's not as many opportunities for them to get, financial aid, especially where we are. We have people in the union, but it's not New York City. We have a really great art scene, but it's not like huge union presence in the same way. So there wasn't just as much support coming from the other side of supporting our performers. I don't think either Kate or we both perform. We were just kind of out that funding.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, that's too bad. Do you do you plan on performing? I know this is out there as a podcast, but do you plan on performing this in a theater again?
I have played with the idea of converting it into a like stage production because there would just be some tweaks that would need to be made.
Yeah.
But I haven't yet, so maybe someday it'll happen.
Do
Kate,
another anniversary staged reading again. I don't know.
anniversary
Yeah.
staged reading.
5 years in, we can do it live again or something.
Do it live. You have to come back.
Oh, of course, of course.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun. And even if you converted it to a stage play, I think that
Yeah.
would be a lot of fun, just like in
Hmm.
R10 where you have the narrator off to one side
Hmm.
and she could even wander through the scene,
hmm
as she's
Yeah.
explaining things and who people are and things that are going on.
One,
So
100%. This has not been something that has not been discussed. And it is we have to keep the narrator and there's been jokes about like being able to freeze scenes and things like that for the narrator, just kind of mess
yes.
with the actors.
Yes.
Which, is kind of the fun part of doing live theater, that collaborative
Yes.
effort of
Oh,
it.
I think that would be so much fun to watch. If you do that, let me know because I'll come watch.
Will do.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, oh, I'm so excited that you guys could come on today. I had a great time listening to the show. The link to the show will be down in the show notes, and the links to the actor and the writer will also be down in the show notes, so you can see more of their work. CJ, do you also write novels?
Um, I have novels on my drive, but nothing published. Actually, ironically, all of my stuff that is like out in the world has been put into audio form, which is very strange for me. Or live theater is where I do a lot of my stuff. Hopefully I will have a novel out at some point. I only have like 5 drafts on my hard drive. We're getting there.
That's how
And
it
you're
goes.
getting there. You're like everybody else. We all have
Yeah, we're all
Yeah.
getting there.
a
Yep.
dozen or so on there. Yeah, yeah. And see, Kate, do you have anything that you're performing in right now?
Yeah. So I wrote an adaptation of Pride and Prejudice for the stage, which is currently being
Nifty.
produced at Kent State Trumbull, which is a sort of satellite of a university here in Northeast Ohio. So that's currently being produced, and I am not only the playwright for that, but I'm also in it and choreographing it. So that's my current project, and that opens in just a couple of weeks.
I would say you're almost
Um,
there.
Oh wow,
yeah,
yeah. Wow,
and
congratulations.
yeah,
Well,
thank
and
you.
people can come and get tickets and see it.
Hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
If you just look up Kent State Trumbull Theater, you should find it there.
We'll,
Uh,
we'll put the link down.
yeah.
Send me the link. We'll put the link down in the show notes for everybody in the
Okay.
area. You can get tickets and go see it in person.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be very cool.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
if you guys do another radio program,
Yeah.
you gotta let me know.
Always.
Yeah. And thank you both
Will
for
do.
coming on today. I really appreciate it. And I had a great time
Yeah.
chatting with you.
Oh yeah, thank you for having us. We really
Same.
appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having us.
I had such a great time chatting with these two, and everything that we talked about is down in the show notes. When you finish listening to the show, Simply to Die For, come back here and drop a note in the comments and let me know if you figured out who the killer was. I thought I'd figured out who the killer was, and I was so proud of myself, and I was totally wrong. So I don't say who the killer is, though, because I don't want spoilers out there. That's it for this time. And like I said at the beginning, oh, my hair is all crazy if you're watching on the if you're watching on the video. Like I said in the beginning, I will be at the Minneapolis Rewind Book Fair, which is April 18th and 19th, 2026, at the Minneapolis Fairgrounds, I believe it is. But if you Google Rewind Book Fair Minneapolis, it'll tell you exactly how to get there and how to park and all that stuff. So come out and find me. As soon as I know what my table booth is going to be, I will drop it into the show notes so you can come back and see that. And that's just next month. It is February 24th as we record this. This is going to go out this week, which makes it, what, the 27th, something like that? Nope, the 26th. Yeah, I know what day it is, right? Yeah. And then I'll be also again for, I think, third or fourth year in a row, I've lost track now, at Wild Deadwood Reads in Deadwood, South Dakota on when June used to be Father's Day weekend, but I think it's going to be June. Wednesday's the 10th, 11, 12, 13, maybe June 13th. Oh God, now I got to look at the calendar to see. 13th, so it'll be June 13th in Deadwood, South Dakota, and that's where I'll be in June. So you can come out and see me and say hi, and let me know if you listen to the podcast. That's always fun to meet listeners. And I think that's finally it. I will let you go. That's it. I am going to, I'm a little out of it this week. Sorry. My husband was on a trip and he came home and he brought a cold. That was my gift. I didn't get a t-shirt. I got a cold. So I'm a little out of it today. Anyway, so that's it. I'm going to be done. You guys go read a good book and I'll see you next time. The Books Cube theme music was written by Laura Lynn Hardy. She performed the vibraphone. Billy Tyke Miller performed percussion, and it was recorded at Mills Kids Recording in Huntsville, Alabama.